All right, greetings, fellow grade 12s. It is Mr. Hlajayo here. Welcome back to basics, right? So what we are doing basically today, we are doing statistics, right? So we are trying to revise some of the most important grade 11 concept that we might have learned when it comes to statistics, right? So, but firstly, in order to understand statistics, now we are saying, look, statistic is what we use basically, whereby we collect our data, right? So, whereby we are collecting data. After collecting data, we do what? We analyze, right? Or we organize firstly. After we've organized the data, we analyze the data. And after we've analyzed the data, and then we interpret the data, right? We interpret the data. So basically, we are saying statistics help us to make informed, right? It helps us to make informed decisions about what? About data, right? Or about a certain topic. Are we together, right? Now, and now the importance of statistics is basically we can use it, for an example, when we are doing research, we can use it basically in business, right? Also, we can use it, for an example, also in advertisement, right? And also, teachers can also use it in order to analyze their results so that they can improve their teaching strategies, right? So basically, these are some of the most important use of our what of our data, right? So now let's just make up our space here so that we can see in terms of what is it that we are required to do as far as statistics it is concerned, right? Now, firstly, I think what I want us to take note here is that now we are going to be dealing with our ungrouped data, right? We are going to be dealing with ungrouped data, right? And when we are looking at ungrouped data, is basically this is one of the example of ungrouped data, right? So here under ungrouped data, these are some of the key things that we are trying to understand, right? So we can firstly try to understand in terms of what is going to be the mean, what is going to be what, and what is going to be the mean. And now when we are looking at our mean, basically we are looking at our average, right? We are looking at our average, right? The average of the data, right? So it can be given by the symbol, which is X bar, where it is equals to the sum of all the data divided by the what? The total of all the data. I want to get right. Now, for an example, I want us to look at the example that we are having here at hand, right? So look at this. Now they are saying this is the following weight is in kg, which is recorded from 15 random selected weight lifters, right? At a certain gymnastic, right? So, or rather at a certain gymnasium, right? Now I want us to look at this. So the first question here, basically it requires us to calculate what is going to be your mean, right? So we are saying, what is it then that you are going to do in order to find out the mean here? So we are going to say, look, our mean, it is going to be equals to, this is going to be the total of everything here, right? So it's going to include, it's going to be 79 plus 80 plus 85 that you're having here, plus your 88 plus your 89 that you're having here, plus your 89 that you're having here, plus your 92. I think you're having 92 plus your 94, plus your 101, plus your 105. This is 105 plus 106 plus 107 plus 108 plus 112 plus 113, right? Then everything else now we are going to divide it by the total number of days, right? And when we are saying total number of data, they said we are having 15 random selected, which means now this is going to be divided by what? This is going to be divided by 15 altogether, right? And when you plug all of this in your calculator, what is that you're getting here? So which means your mean here, it's going to be your X bar is given by the total of everything here. When you're adding here, you are getting 1443 divided by what? Divided by 15 altogether, right? So it's divided by what? It is divided by our 15 here. Altogether, let me just write this 15 properly, right? So it is divided by our 15 here. And then now, what is it then that you are going to end up having here? So which means the mean of the data, it's going to what? The mean of the data, it's going to be given by 96, comma what? This is 96, comma 2 kg. So for standard deviation, basically you are going to press the button, which is mode, right? And then after pressing the button mode, then you're going to press 2, which is going to say stats. And then after stats, then you're going to press option 1, which is var, right? Right? And then here you're going to only have just a box here, right? So it's going to look like this, whereby you're having 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And then you're having your X here, right? So here you're going to insert all the values, right? You're going to insert all the values, starting with what? You're going to start with your 79. Remember, you're having 79, you press equals to, you press your 80, you say equals to, you press your 85, right? This is 85 equals to, you press your 88 equals to, you say 89. I think you're having two 89s equals to 89 equals to, you press your 92 equals to, basically here you are capturing the data. You are pressing your 94 equals to, you are saying 101 equals to, you are pressing your 105 equals to, you are pressing your 106. This is going to be equals to, you are pressing your 107 equals to, you are pressing your 108 equals to, then you're pressing your 112 equals to, then you're pressing your 113, right? And then when you're done with that, and then it's going to show you that you have inserted 15 data as per what you are given, right? Then you go back to AC. Then it's going to write stats here, which means now your stats, it is registered, right? Now you're going to press your shift button, and then you're going to press number 1. I think next to your number 1 button, there is what we call stats. And what is it that you're going to have now from here? You are looking for standard deviation, then you're going to go to option number 4, which is VAR, right? VAR. And then you are then going to find this particular symbol, right? Let me just write this for you, right? For standard deviation, basically now you're going to press this symbol, which is going to be it looks something like this, right? Looks something like this with an X, right? And then now from here, what is then that you're going to press? And when you're pressing that particular button, which is option number 3, you are now going to find out what is going to be your standard deviation, right? And your standard deviation, you're going to get the value of 11.27 altogether, right? So basically now that's what you're going to have as your data in here, right? Now let's now continue. Then let's look at your 2.3. Now in 2.3, what is it that you are required to do now from here? In 2.3, they are saying how many weight lifters will be classified, right? In the further weight division, if the weight has what it is having, is to have less than 1 standard deviation from the mean weight. So basically now here, what is it that you are doing? Now, whenever you see this, where you are having your less than 1 standard deviation, basically now you are going to have this particular formula whereby you are having your mean subtracts your standard deviation, right? And you are having what? Also, you are having your mean plus your standard deviation, right? So whether we're speaking of less than or more than 1 standard deviation, basically now this is the formula that we are using, right? So this is going to be 96.2 subtract, what is that you're having here? This is 11.27. And you are having what? You are also having 96.2 plus 11.27. You close that, and then what else then now are you going to have here? And then now from here, you are going to have this as 84. I think this is 84, this is 84,93. And then what you're having this side, it's going to be 107.47 out again, right? So now from here, you are going to look at the values that it is going to be found which is going to be less than, or it's going to be found outside these two values, right? So you are going to look at the values that is going to be found outside these two values, right? And what is it then that you are going to have here? Altogether. So for an example, because they said it's less than one standard deviation, so you're going to just look at the lesser side, right? So in the lesser side, now you're saying here, how many of the terms are found which are going to be less than 84,93, right? And how many of the terms then that you are going to have here? I think now you're going to realize that now the terms that are less than that, it's going to what? It's going to be 80, right? And then it's going to what? And then it's going to be 79 altogether, right? So you are going to have two scores which are less than the standard deviation, right? We are basically going to have the two scores that are going to be less than the standard deviation. So then now, what is it then that you are going to do now from here? Which means we are going to start by firstly finding out what is going to be the minimum value of this data, right? So the minimum value of this data is basically, it means the smallest value here, right? And now if you are looking for the smallest value of the data here, what is it then that you're going to have here? I think the smallest value of the data here, it is our 79, right? I think it's what you're having, which is your 79. And now if you're looking for your Q1, how do we calculate our Q1, right? So if this is our data, right? So how many data, what is it that you are having here? So you're having so you're having 15 terms, right? So now from the 15 terms, what is it that we can find? Now we want to find out what is going to be the middle term firstly, right? So we need to start by finding out what is going to be your Q3, right? So the Q3 is going to be the middle, your Q2 rather, it's going to be the middle term starting from the beginning of the data up until the end of the data, right? And since you're having 15 of this is going to be, let's see, you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're having the eighth term. Let's see. Now, even if you can start here, you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are also having the eighth term, right? So which means basically your 94 will be the middle term here, right? Because it's found in the middle of the data, right? So which means basically your Q2 is going to be given by 94, right? And now that you found out what is your Q2, now we can come back and find out your Q1, right? So in order for us to find out what is our Q1 now, we are going to neglect this value because we've already used it, right? Now we are going to say, starting from this value now, moving this way, right? Moving this way, which one it is going to be our Q1, right? Right, which means we are going to look at for the half of the half again, right? So which means which will be our quarter, right? And for our quarter here, how many datas are you having here? You're having one, you're having 7 terms, right? So if you're having 7 terms, which means now the fourth term here, right? The fourth term here will be again the middle term, right? Because you're having 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth one. Even if you're starting here, it's 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one, right? So which means basically your Q1 is going to be given by 88 altogether, right? And you must be careful, right? Now that you have used this value of your median, you are not considering it when you are doing your Q1, when you are doing your Q1 or your Q3, right? So which means now when you are looking to find out what is going to be your Q3, now you are also going to look for the fourth term here, which is going to be what? Which is going to be 107 in this case, right? Because you're having 310 here and 310, right? And this is the fourth starting from your Q2 and also starting from your maximum value, right? Remember our maximum value here, it's going to be given by 113. And it assists us in ensuring that our data, it is what? It is evenly distributed, right? So what do I mean when I say evenly distributed, which means now you are using a correct scale, right? So, and by saying a correct scale, we are saying you are having same spaces, right? Altogether, or which means now which scale can we use now from here? For example, we can use 0, then we can use 10, we can use 20, 30, 40. I mean 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and 120 altogether, right? So we know that all of this is going to fit here. Now you come back, what is going to be your minimum value, right? So your minimum value, we said it's 79, right? So let me just get a different color here so that we can, see this thoroughly, right? So it said it's 79, right? And from our scale, probably our 79 will be somewhere here, right? So our 79 will be somewhere here from our scale, right? I want to get, right? So that is going to be our 79. And now from here, what is it then that you're going to have here? You are also going to use, right? We said we are also having 88, right? So, and our 88 is our Q1, which means where there is 88, if this is 80, then 88 is probably just going to be next to the 9, which is going to be somewhere here. Altogether, right? Which is going to be somewhere here. And after that, we are saying we are also going to use what? We are saying you are also going to use our Q2, which is 94, and 94 is just almost here in the middle, right? So our 94 is also somewhere here, right? Let's redo that. Our 84, it is somewhere here, right? It is somewhere here. And after that, we are doing our Q3, and our Q3, it is given by 107, and 107 is also somewhere here, right? When we are drawing, it's going to be somewhere here. And our maximum value is 113, which is also equally somewhere here, right? And then now from here, what is that you're going to do? You're just going to connect this, right? After connecting this, we are also going to connect this one. Look at my line here. It's not as straight as I would appreciate it. So let me just write it straight. So it's going to look something like this. And now you can also connect here. Yes, you are connecting here. And now this is going to be our box and Huska diagram. Okay, right? So basically, this is how we go about whenever we are required to do our box and Huska diagram, right? So looking at 2.5, 2.5 they require us to do our IQR, right? And in order for us to do our IQR, what is it that you're going to do now from here? Your IQR represents your interquartile range, right? And your interquartile range, it's Q3, subtract your Q1. Luckily, we've already found out what was our Q3, which is the 75% of the data, which we said it is 107. So this is going to 107, subtract your Q1, which is what? Which we said it's 88, right? So it's 107 subtract 88, which is going to be given by what? Which is going to be 18, if I'm not mistaken, right? This is going to be given by 18, right? So basically now that's going to be that one. And then lastly, right? Lastly now, what is it that they want us to do? Now they want us to, to basically comment on the spread of the data, right? And now to comment on the spread of the data, what is it then that you are going to have here, right? So we are going to look at this. You are going to say, when you are commenting on the spread of the data, the easier thing to understand, you just say your mean subtract your what? Subtract your median, right? Commenting here, you are going to have your mean subtract your median, right? So, and what was the value of our mean? The value of our mean, it was given by what? It was given by if I'm not mistaken, this was given by, I think this is 96.2. Yes, this was given by 96.2. Subtract, what was our median? Our median, it is what? Our median was given by 94. Okay. And what are you getting here? You are getting 2.2 out again, right? So if you're saying mean, if you are saying here your mean subtract your median, if you are getting a positive value, which means this particular data, it's mostly skewed to the right, right? This is what we call positively skewed, right? Altogether, this is positively skewed altogether, right? But however, if here, whatever that you are getting here, this was going to be negative, then this was going to be negatively skewed altogether, right? So which means the data is mostly spread to the right than it is spread to the left altogether, right? Hopefully all of this makes sense. And, I tried to explain some of the things, slowly so that you can have a proper understanding. Thank you very much for listening. All right. It's given by 9, 6, right?